over a lot last week, and then Tuesday we're going taking the bus to New Jersey, and she's calling me like, news like we're gonna fucking take the bus, and she's calling, she keeping me on the phone. I'm like, okay, I got work to do. She's like making fun of me, like, and then we were at her house, and it was funny. Her dad was like in the basement, and her mom was like, "Why don't you come up and hang out with us?" And he was like, "I got work to do." And I said, "See, men have work to do. Yeah, you got to let men work."
I mean, you should be great. You should be happy if a man got work to do. A lot of men ain't even working.
I know. Yeah. That's true. That's a lot of what I'm trying to figure out what Tristram Shandy's about. I've been going in hard on this. I'm almost done, and it's like,
damn, dude.
And I think it's kind of a story about like idle men,
Okay.
And because all these guys, and I think like a big part of it is, so much of it is about sex, like coyly about sex.
Okay.
And none of the guys can really fuck, and I think that's part of it. They're like
impotent.
What
idle
happens
men.
to the men when they don't fuck and they're outside of the world of women? What happens to them?
Damn.
And then become like, So basically, it's the life and opinions of Tristram Shandy.
Okay.
Right? Tristram Shandy is a narrator.
Okay.
But 5 volumes of the book is concerning the day of his birth.
Oh, what the
basically.
hell?
So he's not even born yet. It's basically just his dad and his uncle talking,
What?
and the servants in the house. It's really like,
crazy.
And then there's like, God, there's some funny, like actual funny shit in here too. Like his dad is kind of like obsessed with esoteric knowledge and stuff like that. Like he gets the name Tristram because he's born and they need a name for him, right? And he might die. They need a name, and as he was coming out, like there's this whole thing about the midwife versus the doctor and who's better, and the doctor's kind of like a buffoon, and he goes in there with the forceps and he crushes the baby's nose with the forceps. It really is his dick, right? The joke is that it's actually his dick got fucking smushed.
Whoa.
And so he's gonna be impotent, but his nose is crushed, and the dad is fucking horrified that the nose is crushed. So to make up for it, and he's obsessed with names too, about the importance of names, and he thinks that Tristram is like the evilest name possible.
Whoa.
But so he gives, because the baby's nose got crushed, he wants to give him the best name. So he's going to name him Trismegistes after Hermes Trismegistes.
I was just listening to a damn hour-long Gnostic lecture about Hermes Trismegistes.
That's what he's going to name him.
Damn.
And then he tells the servant to run up and tell the curate that's going to write his name down, that his name's going to be Trismegistes.
Whoa.
And she forgets it on the way. So she's like, Tristam. And then the curate's name is Tristram. So he goes, Tristram. I know this name, Tristram.
Oh, my God.
And he accidentally gives him the evilest name possible.
That's hilarious, dude.
But so it's like, God, there's some funny stuff. Like, so whenever something happens, the dad, a disaster, he pulls out one of his esoteric volumes on stuff. He got histories of fucking noses and shit like that.
Dude.
And there's this whole thing. It's this, and what I like what fires me up, if I ever see like a fake writer that's not an excerpt from a fake writer that doesn't exist, like Borges always do it.
I love that. I love that.
Bolaño does it all the time too. Like a fake writer that doesn't exist. I love that.
I love that shit, dude.
And there's this
you give me a fake bio?
This
quick bio? This
philosopher, Slockin Burgess, is his dad's favorite philosopher. He's an expert on noses, right?
Shit.
And nose, they say it's like a dick joke, kind of. The nose is the dick, right?
Okay.
And this dude comes in, and there's like a 10-page tale from Slockin Burgess from his fictions, right? He got a series of 10 tales, and this is the 9th tale. Yeah. And it's this dude comes into town, and he got the biggest nose ever. He got the biggest fucking nose anyone's ever seen. And all the wives in town are like, I got to touch that nose to see if it's real. It makes all the wives insane in town. And like it makes everyone insane because he got the biggest fucking cock, right? Really, but he's the biggest nose.
That's hilarious.
And it's just like, so it's actually like funny and like it's crazy. The book's crazy
and like crude.
Yeah, it's crude, dude, but like slyly crude.
Okay.
But, and it's just like, wow, this is from 1748. I feel like I haven't read anything this crude.
Dude,
talking about the guy with the biggest dick in the world.
Yeah. I got to read this, and then we got to get Nico to run it back. And
Nico likes it, huh?
Yeah, he likes it.
Nice.
I think he was reading it. Yeah, when he was.
Yeah, that would be good.
And we gotta do a long deep dive on.
I gotta
on Tristram Shandy. That'll just be for the annals of history.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna do a stack about it because I'm trying to figure out what
nice,
it. Yeah,
nice,
what it
nice.
like. Because I also
your
also
most recent
feel,
one, but
I also feel like yeah, the most recent one's good. I
didn't hit that yet.
But I also feel like when people talk about this book, they just say vague things about it,
right?
And they don't say what it's really about or anything.
Dude,
like
I love that. That's why I love ripping essays on on somewhere. I'm like, you guys aren't talking about what.
Yeah,
the book's
exactly.
about.
And it's like, yeah, what's and it just helps you figure it out too.
Dude, that's one way. I think I dealt with a lot of my Lucifer rage in the past few years. Just like when you almost angrily turning your attention to a different text.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's like there's something like glowed about it because it's like, oh yeah, we're all reading and like trying to understand.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, and then I got so moved. I posted this part from this book, but it was sick. It was like, yeah, you got to rip something on that. Wait, dude, you remember I told you Al sent me that postcard? A postcard?
Yeah.
That's the postcard.
Oh shit!
That's where Dante was exiled, the top of that waterfall.
Oh no way!
Al went there.
He was. Wow, damn.
Isn't that sick?
Wow. Oh, he was out there. He was in Italy. A couple months back. Damn, nice. Wow.
Yeah. Let me. Wait, I remember 133. Let me read something because I posted some of this, but then it keeps going and it's kind of sick. So, yeah, because she all trying to. Oh, this is good. This is exactly relevant to our
nice.
Shit. She's all with the dog and he's all like grieving in the beginning. In the beginning, it's like, can they cry? Can dogs feel anything? And then she's all like, she always writer's block, and then she has this moment where she starts reading her sentence aloud. And then shit starts kind of going, and then she starts reading letters to a young poet aloud. And she goes, I know this little book well. 10 letters addressed to a student who'd written to ask Rilke for advice when Rilke himself was just 27 years old. Letter 8 contains his famous... I mean, that's the mode you're trying to get into, too. Like, saying other stuff is good.
Yeah.
And, like, being more of, like, a teacher role.
For sure.
Advice role.
Yeah.
That's a huge calming thing. That's what Amelia's show is going to be about. Letter 8 contains his famous vision of the Beauty and the Beast myth. Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act just once with beauty and courage.
Oh.
Perhaps everything that frightens us is, in its deepest sense, something helpless that wants our love.
Wow, I like that.
That's glowed. Words often quoted, and then he goes, this rant reminds me of Whitman. Beware irony, ignore criticism, look at what is simple, study the small and humble things of the world. This is her. Do what is difficult precisely because it is difficult. Do not search for answers, but rather love the questions. Do not run away from sadness or depression, for these might be the very conditions necessary to your work. Seek solitude. Above all, seek solitude.
Yeah, that is like Whitman.
Whitman.
Whitman's kind of like
love all. That's the creature.
Yeah, he's a little different than the Sikh. So I feel like his is not.
Yeah, he's like go out into the square and talk to a random homeless guy.
Exactly.
Like fuck with him. Yeah, too. I love Whitman for that.
Yeah.
But then he goes,
that's the best. That's the best rant.
And then he goes, I have read Rilke's advice so often I know it by heart. And she goes, when I read the letters for the first time, and you know when I talked to that fool Matthias?
Yeah.
At the broth thing, he sent me, he's like, you must read the letters to.
Yeah.
And I had read them before, but I ran them back around then, and I was like, those are kind of sick. But this is also return of the romantics that we're talking about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He goes, when I read the letters for the first time at around the same age Rilke was when he wrote them, I felt that they had been written as much to me as to their addressee, that all this wonderful advice was meant for any person who wished to become a writer. But now, though the writing might strike me as more beautiful than ever, I cannot read it without uneasiness. I cannot forget my own students who do not feel at all what the young poet must have felt when he received them in the first decade of the last century. They do not feel what we felt when you assigned this book to us 3/4 of a century later, along with Rilke's autobiographical novel, The Notebooks of Malte Lourdes Brigg. They do not feel that Rilke is speaking to them. On the contrary, they accuse him of excluding them. They say it's a lie that writing is a religion requiring the devotion of a priest. They say it's ridiculous. It's so devastating. It is. When I tell them the myth of Rilke's death, how it came to be that the onset of his fatal disease occurred after he pricked his hand on the thorn of a rose.
No way.
The flower that obsessed him and was such a significant symbol in his work.
Wow.
they groan, and one student can't stop laughing.
Okay, but that's just like the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
It's not all students like that.
I know.
Well, it's like, even in the MFA, you saw, I'm sure you like the difference in some classes, and then like the devotion of like our Faulkner class, right? Where it was like everyone fucking is here, believes in this, And
she tells another story.
Yeah, go ahead.
She tells another story. She's like, a note of a new calendar that has 6 male writers and 6 female writers posing nude for a calendar. It says, "Order now to get your signed copy of every writer."
Yeah.
And then like at a dinner party, they say it's just a matter of time till the author photos are nudes, and everyone at the table burst out laughing while I just stood there with completely sad. I'm like, damn, that's something. That's something. Y'all trying to take the legacy and turn it into some other shit.
But I feel like everyone always has been trying to do that, just in different guises forever. Fucking Rilke and the young poet weren't representative of the age.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the devotion.
That's kind of bars though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.